thought today we should do a cold open. With a little bit of a nod to the fact that I felt today, you know, very unsettled, very like what my sister used to call uchi. You know, you just feel kind of uchi. Like not quite comfortable in your own skin. And the image came to me of like a scared rabbit. You know, not knowing where to go. Where is the burrow? Where's the safe place? Where's the hawk? Where's the, you know, so that's not exactly a cold open, but I'm bringing some of that energy to the table, and I would suspect I'm not the only one who feels uchi. So, it's threatening rain, you know. It's going to rain for days. Once it starts, according to the weather reports, it's not going to stop. So something kind of enduring, like being under a cloud, or, you know, the rabbit, where's the hawk? I don't know. Six of Wands. That could be a card of protection, of a need to set boundaries. And I'm seeing it now as the kind of war, and, you know, the rabbit can go into the bush and there are crisscross sticks all around, and there is a victory wreath, though. I think it's whatever. If somebody's trying to build a boundary or a safety net or something like that, it's a good idea, and it's going to work. Hermit. That's sort of like a protective place. You know, the hermit goes in retreat to know themselves, sets up a boundary. And I don't really know why I'm reading this as a boundary. The boundary would be Seven of Wands. This is a card of victory. There's something about the warren, the thatch, what's going on? What's the boundary? Queen of Wands. Well, Queen of Wands, you know, that's a minor arcana card of the mystic. And the hermit is also tuned to the mystery. But they find, it's an energy of finding yourself outside the kind of noise of the crowd. And for some reason, this is still striking me as protection. You know, Queen of Wands, Six of Wands. It's successful. Queen of Wands. Okay. All of these. Okay. Under Six of Wands, we have Nine of Cups. Had that yesterday. Card of fulfillment and happiness and self-love. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Eight of Cups. That can be a card of leaving something you love, going into some kind of isolation, you know, to tap into your own core understanding. And under Hermit, Hangman, another major arcana card. This is of Pisces, a water energy. Hermit is earth energy. That's a card of suspension, you know. Not acting, taking the time to a time out to sort of process your feelings. And you see how this one has the kind of concentric rings around the head. It's like stopping to be able to read your own emotions. A card of walking away, a card of, you know, a spiritual retreat of some sort. This is Hangman, Cups energy, Pisces, like Eight of Cups. Leaving something behind. And maybe then considering, how do I feel about that? Piscean energy, how do I feel? Wands are about action, so there was some kind of action, for some reason strikes me as protective. Looking inward, you know, assessing the feelings, maybe from somebody else's perspective, or trying to flip the script somehow, or figure out, I left behind somebody I loved, Eight of Cups. How do I feel about it? How will they feel about it? Ace of Wands, the new beginning. For Queen of Wands. And on Eight of Cups, Page of Swords. And I'm getting that feeling of like, what do I do? What do I do now? And kind of an inability to prioritize, you know, to figure out what's the most important thing to do. And this is a card of investigation. Sword energy. I'll look into it. I'll try to figure out what is the lesson. It's a card of the student, of beginner's mind. And the question might be, why do I feel like I have to leave? You know, that is the question. Why do I feel like I have to leave? And then there's this stopping to consider. And this can sort of be like the enlightenment, I get it. I understand, and I know, you know, on an intuitive level, and I know where to go. You know, part of my feeling this morning was, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. Ace of Wands, Ten of Wands. That's the full cycle. Something closing out. Something that we're done with. That Queen of Wands is done with. And I think that's the us in this case. Closing out a cycle, you know, moving on in some way. Maybe there's a shift in feelings. Maybe there's a new perspective on something we felt very strongly about. So in that forward movement, moving on, Wands energy, you know, which direction? There's a real period of checking in with oneself emotionally. This is the investigation card, right? Checking in with oneself. what is it? How do I decode this? And I think in part you decode it by stopping, hangman, trying to figure it out, going inside to try to figure it out. That sort of core wisdom that knows the way, that knows what the next cycle will be, is curious enough to question it. On Six of Wands, Two of Swords. Two of Swords is at being at cross purposes, at a crossroads. And it sort of reminds me of this, the kind of weave shape of the Six of Wands. Boy, I'm sort of lost here on Queen of Wands, Sun. Well, I think it's also successfully moving. Wands energy are all about movement out of this boundary place I was talking about, beyond the block, because we're curious, we're willing to look into it. It's not closed-minded, it's beginner's mind. It's some kind of fresh perspective. And Queen of Wands, fire energy person, perhaps a Leo, or in the energy of Leo, which is just warmth and courage and, not really extroverted, but there is an element of willing to be seen. I mean, it's not this. This may lead to, because Sun is a card of revelation, and this is sort of like going into the cave to really tap into the kind of sage energy of the self, to be inquisitive in that way. Page of Wands, Page of Swords, Hermit. On Hangman, Ten of Cups. I think the consideration here, let me look into it. I'm curious about this. I need to investigate why I left. I went in search of something more fulfilling, a higher love of some sort. And I took my time trying to figure out, trying to process feelings. What is the higher love? The Ten of Cups. A kind of ultimate peace, or a love that brings you great peace. On Hermit, Knight of Pentacles. Hermit is earth energy, Virgo, and here's a card of earth energy as well. Slow moving progress in 3D. And I think it's slow moving because there's been this suspension to process feelings. Listen, just to sort of mull it over, to figure out, not be in any rush here. Be open-minded to check it out. And I think with a great deal of honesty and personal integrity, Hermit card. Checking in with yourself. The 9 speak to the personal. Hermit is 9 in Major Arcana. So whatever's happening has been slowed down. There's been a bit of the pumping of the brakes in Hangman. And then when the action takes up again, it's based on this hermit-like, the answers we get from within, and then we can move forward. We don't gallop forward. We don't, throw caution to the wind. But we know intuitively where we're going, what we're going into, what we're closing out, what we're leaving behind, what the new beginning is. And the new beginning is something very bright and promising, Sun card. It makes us happy. It fulfills us like this. And I want to ask, the question comes to mind, where is the other person? Is there another person? Is this all internal for this Queen of Wands character? I think Queen of Wands in Eight of Cups card implicitly left somebody behind, or left something behind that they loved in order to embark on this new way of thinking, or this new path, or this new direction. Tell us more, please. Two of Pentacles. Yeah, it was a decision, carefully considered, weighing it up, a balanced decision. Knight of Pentacles is not like a fickle, jumpy. It's not the rabbit afraid of the hawk. And if there is another person, it's the really working at Pentacles energy, working at finding somebody who there's give and take. You kind of balance each other out. If they're the rabbit, you're the calming influence. Eight of Swords. The calming influence on somebody who's really almost in a, I was going to say panic attack, but I think it's the end of the panic attack. See, there's the sudden opening in the mental cage, on this transformative, if this person can get out of their own way, get out of their own head, it'll open the door to something really transformative. If they can move beyond the crossroads. And you may be engaging this person in some kind of stabilizing influence in their life, Pentacles energy. World card. Well, it opens up, it opens up the world for them. There's this release, transformative release from overthinking. This is the last card in the Major Arcana. It's the end of a big, big cycle and the beginning of a new life. End of the cycle. Ten of Wands, beginning of the new life. Ace of Wands. But there's some kind of, cyclical. It's almost like Wheel of Fortune. There's a cyclical. And this looks to me like a mandala, like the spiritual map. Card of Capricorn. Somehow moving slowly through the phases or to a new understanding. It may feel very vulnerable at first to leave this cage. but it's really a portal to new life. New life. What are we missing? I feel like there's a piece of this puzzle that we're missing. Is it this? Is it this? Piece of the puzzle. Lovers. Like Two of Pentacles, that can be a choice. It's sword energy, you know, a recognition of the other. That Two of Pentacles idea of the two balancing each other out. Two of Pentacles, Two of Swords is 4. 4 in Major Arcana is Emperor. Lovers, card of Gemini. You know, and swans mate for life. And it may be a choice to move away from an old connection. Something that was really heartfelt and sincere, but there's this curiosity about what else is out there. You know, this path doesn't go far enough. And maybe somehow the person that in the past, it wasn't enough. So there's a decision to kind of peek outside the cage and find a way forward. In sword energy, Page of Swords, Two of Swords, Lovers. Which way do I go, Two of Swords, to get past the roadblock? I'm going to look into it. Tell us about lovers, please. Is it this? Is it this? Is it the split? Emperor. What we just said, Emperor. Card of Divine Masculine, a card of Aries. With Lovers. I think maybe Divine Masculine has made up their mind. They've waited up. They're leaving something that was familiar, but inhibiting, some sort of mindset that kept them stuck. And there's a desire to, not only get out of this little, to sweep out of this little opening, but to really, it's not just about changing, this person isn't just trying to change their mind. They're going for some kind of ultimate change. World card. Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands, it's Lovers, Divine Masculine, the Emperor, this action taker, and Knight of Wands, going for it. And there's something about the wand is all the little, it's almost like the sparks. He's piercing through something. Okay, and I'm going to stop that because it's too much. High Priestess, Divine Feminine Energy. And where did I see those? I thought I saw somewhere that this kind of floorboard. Oh yeah. You know, the one who sees beyond the veil, beyond the trappings of daily life. The one who turns their attention inward. High Priestess is you know, that part of ourselves that can't explain, or, you know, each person needs to find it for themselves. And High Priestess doesn't even try to explain it. Highly intuitive, she may know what's going to happen. She may know that this Emperor person is coming in with the intention to kind of break through that we kept talking about, the barrier. You know, the wand just like hits the barrier, and these are kind of the smithereens. I don't know if you can see them, but I think Emperor's coming in. He's coming in fast. He, she, they. And there may be kind of a disruptive element because you may be not in isolation, but in your own life. Pentacles energy. You know, day by day, living your life. But there's great force and power in this divine masculine to kind of get on with it. Okay, again, I feel like there's a missing piece. I mean, there's, you know, we never have the complete understanding. There is this, looking at the book, almost like, you know, peeking into the Akashic record or something like that. The map of the psyche. But it's really, you know, divine masculine is taking action. I mean, action. Wants to get it done, wants to do something. Perhaps after being in this place of trying to figure out what they feel. You know, and maybe at first trying to think their way through it, and that didn't work. It's much more about feeling the way forward. 8 of Cups, 10 of Cups. I think that I mean, there's a lot of love here. And as well, this could be you. Queen of Wands, Sun, Emperor. You know, tapping into your own core strength and action and ability to control your own life. But I think it's somebody else. Because remember, I asked the question, who's the other person? I think they see it now. You know, they were kind of prompted to investigate this. Page of Swords. Why am I stuck? 2 of Swords. That question, sword energy. Why am I stuck? Why am I stuck? Consideration. Maybe even for 2 years? And then suddenly there's this go time, Knight of Wands. And Divine Feminine in the expression of High Priestess is sitting in the chair. You know, there's wisdom. There's the Akashic record. You know, the place that somewhere in the cosmos there's a record of everything that has happened, is happening, will happen. It's timeless. The big psychic map. And I think this person, when they come in, will there's be something disturbing about it. Or, you know, not in the sense of like, oh, this is disturbing, this gives me bad feelings. It's not uchi. But it'll bring you out of yourself in some significant way. You'll turn your attention toward this Emperor. I mean, it's sort of like this person, Emperor person, will not be ignored. There's a lot of happiness here and a lot of flow, a lot of love. Endings of cycles, beginnings of something new, and this hold up to consider. I think both of you are going to need to sort of take a beat, take a minute. How do I feel about this? Because it's very passionate on Emperor's part. Knight of Wands, very passionate, wanting to bust in, you know, and kind of disturb the peace. I don't think it's arrogant, but it is, you've been in quiet, and this is somehow quite loud. This Divine Masculine knows that this is a really important connection, lovers. They see it now. They've looked into it, and that's what they see. They see you for who you are. They understand themselves, at least, you know, are beginning to. And then they can push past this mental, you know, this person was up in their head. And now they've kind of found the ability to act on it. Not just think about it. Not just stay forever suspended processing their feelings. There's something like they know it now. Lovers, Gemini, air energy, they know it now. So they're coming in. Okay, my friends, we have on the board Gemini and Lovers, Aries and Emperor, Virgo and the Hermit, which I think that's you. You know, the sage, the contemplative one. High Priestess is Cancer, Pisces. World card is Capricorn. Hangman is Pisces. Feelings, action, recognition, deep core knowledge. I hope you can make sense of this. I mean, really, like, look into it. Is this about me? Does this speak to my situation? Do I recognize this story? I'll see you next time.